Hi guys, Ronda without an H here. Okay, so I want to show you what I've been working on. This is super fun, and it's just a different kind of journal, easy peasy. You know, I'm sure you've seen a whole bunch of different things like this, but this is something that I did last year. Not these, but I was teaching a class and I had to come up with a journal that was just really simple for ladies to do. And so I did. I came up with these, and I thought this would be fun to show you as well. So yeah, I'm going to do a quick flip through, and then I'm going to show you how to make these. It's an envelope journal. Okay, so, and I haven't decided if I'm going to keep some of these to give as little, random happy mail. So as you can see, what I've done, we have front and back pockets. It's just scrapbook paper, pretty paper, and I've just found an image that I loved. And the envelope itself ends up being the closure, which is so easy and fun. And then I just did a sweet little ribbon. And here's a little, you probably already do this, but for me it was like an aha. It was like, oh, because sometimes I slip these back on and it takes me, a good little minute. Now that I said that, it's just going to take me a good little minute to put that where I want it. Isn't that sweet? Super simple. These would make great hostess gifts. These would make fabulous little Christmas stocking stuffer type things as well. Here's another one, and this one I did on the opposite side. We'll just pull that off, and you have the envelope over here. Open it up. Oh! And this one, you can see I lined it on this side, but I didn't. I just left the envelope pocket on this side. And this is just, there again, just some fun papers. And super easy peasy. All right. So if you're looking for something that's really quick and super fun, this is going to be, this is a winner. Okay? Now I want to bring in, so I started with these. These I did last year for the class, and I had some extra little supplies and whatnot. And these are the envelopes that I got. I believe I got these in the dollar store. But I paid very minimal, and there were 8 that came in a package. And they are 6 by 9 inches, the envelope itself. So that's what I'm using. So I haven't decided whether to make this one video or 2 videos, but you'll want to get some of these. I mean, it's super cheap, and some thinnish scrapbook paper, not the heavy scrapbook paper. That doesn't work very well on these, because these are fairly sturdy. These are heavy enough that you don't need heavy, and the more you fold and fold with heavy papers, the more bulky and awkward that it gets. So, okay, so let me go ahead and continue showing you these sweet little journals. Okay, so, well, actually, this was the next one that I did, so I'm going to show you this one first. And this one I actually turned into the tie is on with a, what do you call those? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Then the reason that I did that is that this by itself was just, the more you add to, the more bulky it gets, the more it wants to alligator mouth kind of thing. But I love this. And this has got, I just switched it up, did it a little more in my style. And this is cardboard, corrugated cardboard. And I've layered, and I've got some lace, and I've got some cheesecloth, and I've got old book page, and this is an amazing old image. Yeah, love this. And I have done this in ledger paper, and this is, it's not quite as heavy as some scrapbook double-sided papers, but it was actually too heavy to work with. It was awkward to work with. It's really nice and sturdy, but it was just a little, it wasn't quite, it wasn't quite as pliable. All right, so we'll open it up, and I have lined it with the same, ledger paper. And actually, I have digitals of this ledger paper in my Etsy shop, if that's something that you like or interests you. So we have added a sweet little glassine bag in the front, and I have just taken various images. I am in the process of creating, that will be in my Etsy store, some vintage women that I like to use the images of. And here's a little cluster that I had made some time ago, but just pulled that. I thought the colors worked beautifully. Just no rhyme or reason. This is a sweet little, this is washi tape that I put on. I have a video about that, the little clusters. And this is just with the tape, not built up like some of the clusters are. But just loving just this process. This is fun and super, super simple. It can be decorated a lot more than what I did, but I didn't want to overcrowd it, because this way it's got so many papers that you can personalize and do your own thing. And here, of course, is the center. And I have bound it very simply with my crochet threads. So you've got a combination of just mixed different papers. This is deli paper, and I have stamped one of my favorite stamps on there. A couple of little pockets inside. And here is another little cluster that I loved. And these vintage images are just sweet. I just love them. So it's got lots and lots of writing space and things that you can do with whatever. And then a little pocket on the back. And with this, when I put these in the next day or two, I'll put whatever I'm going to put in my store, I will put it. I haven't decided whether it's going to be the 2 vintage ones or if I'm going to add these as well. But these extras are also coming with this little book, so that whoever buys it can go ahead and to their heart's content finish. And I'm including a few more little pockets. You can see the wonderful glassine bags, and I'm even including some more of the little vintage images that I didn't use that could be used in here or other applications. I just, I've seen or heard, I don't quite remember now, but anyway, somehow it's come to my mind that what someone does on their project is they gather all of these little bits and pieces that were with the project, and they keep them with the project. And so I thought, wow, that's a fabulous, our scraps, don't they like multiply, grow? They don't even need yeast. And they grow, and they grow. Oh my gosh, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? I hear you guys, I hear you. So anyway, that's what this is going to be. And this was super fun. I love the images. I love the process. And it's just easy peasy, but this book will come with these extra papers. Okay, then this was the last one that I finished. And you guys, just adorable. This, of course, is one of Tim Holtz's paper dolls. And I have taken an iCAD card and added some dimensions and, some mixed media deliciousness to that. And this is just some sweet cotton fabrics that I thought went beautifully with this that I teared for the ribbon. Okay, so let's do a quick flip through. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Oh, just the sweetest. Oh, look, with her dog. And her coat and her muff and her hat and her everything is like, that probably weighs as much as she does. So in here we have a journaling card. So this one, I created a pocket on both sides, okay? And we'll just, and these images, I love these images, and I have been working on this, and these will be in my Etsy store. I have a digital of these little girls. I think it's 3 pages that will be available to download if you would like, because I love these. And so you have pockets on this side, and you've got the one here and the one here, and then one here and one here. And then we have the one signature little book with these fantastic images. Now this, in my download, it's just this size, and this is the back. So I arranged it so that this is blank deliberately so that you could make a card, or you could do something like this with, with that image. That's why it's blank, in case you're wondering when you go look. Okay, just sweetness. I love these. Oh, these vintage images are amazing. And then I just put a variety of papers. This is some farmland. And this is a scan of 1932, is it? Or 36? I have to go look. A newspaper that I have, that I coffee dyed. And I coffee dyed these images as well and stitched around here. This is from one of my old, and I don't even know what the writing is, but it's old. It's in the 1800s. And I came across these Coca-Cola bottling companies, these receipts, a whole pad book, and I'm also going to list some of those. I have a few that I can share. Well, maybe I can show you the other half of that. I don't know. Where is it? There we go. And there are 2. There's a yellow copy and the white copy. And I thought those were fabulous. And some glassine paper, old vintage papers. I just, loving it. This is just really, really sweet. There really isn't anything about this sweet little journal that I don't like. I'm thinking. Well, okay, sweetheart. You think. Alrighty. And then a couple more coffee dyed iCAD cards. Well, actually, they're just index cards, aren't they? They're not iCAD card unless I'm putting art on them every day. So, is that just the cutest? Look at that. And she just look like a sweet little girly girl. And she's just gonna curl her dog's ears. His hair. I love these images. And all of these images that you see here are in my digital. And I already showed you that. That's 2 pages. And then I have a third page for these. Now this is a little trickier because it wraps a few times. We'll see. Let's see if I can do this without... I don't know. Can she? Can the old lady do it? Come on, cheer me on, you guys. Aha! Aha! Yay! And she did. She did. Anyway, okay. So, that is a flip through of these sweet little journals. On this, I also have some little odds and ends that I will include with this one. These are just, they're just a sweet little simple, easy peasy. And I don't even know where those extras are for that. But because I put a lot more images and took a lot more time and effort on these, I do have scraps. I do. And I want to have those go together so it gives someone else. You can build your own portfolio of scraps. All right. So let's see, how much time? I don't know how to look at this and see how much time I've got. I think I've got enough. But let's put this away. And I will at least get started on, and isn't that beautiful? This is a quilt that a friend gave me many years ago. Okay. I thought that I would do one with fabric this time. So, as I've told you, I'm just going to go through the process. One of these envelopes, I cut apart to have as a template for, whatever I might want to do. And as you can see, I've been using this. It's come to good use. Now in the class, as I was teaching it, somebody got a little carried away and when they were trying to go through the process, they kind of messed it up. But it's so inexpensive, it really doesn't matter. So, all right. So first thing we're gonna do, and for this you need a letter opener, a fairly good letter opener. At least that's what I would recommend. Okay, so you have to decide, first of all, is your flap going to be on the left side or the right side? And I did one like this, and I'll tell you a secret. The reason I did one this way is because I put my butterfly paper upside down and it ended up on this side. And so I had to redo the whole thing. That for me is not a normal, but it may be for you. I'm left-handed, and so it just didn't quite flow the same way. But just know, whichever side works best for you to put the pocket, do that. So when I have that figured out, then I know which is the top and which is the bottom. And you can, if you need to, you can always, like put a mark or, write bottom or, top. Just keep so that you know what's going on and you remember how you're doing it. So then what I will do with my letter opener, I'm just going to very carefully open this envelope up. I'm trying, normally I would have this laying down, but if I have it laying down the way it needs to be, you can't see it. The camera won't show it. So, okay. So now we've got one part open. And now I'm going to go in and just very carefully again, I want to try to keep this as straight as possible, my cuts. Okay. Easy. So far, so good. Next, I want to, you can do, let's think about this actually a minute, because if I don't, okay, well, one of your options is, I'll show you that. One of your options is to, take this middle clasp and just center just barely around it and cut it out. Take it out. And that way you don't have to deal with that. But that also gives you a little more that you have to deal with here. You have an additional circle. So I'm wondering if we can just wiggle. What if we just try to wiggle this out? And I don't remember if I tried to do this before. I think what I did when I was teaching the class was like, well, this is a little bit more involved and I needed to keep it super, super simple for these ladies. And didn't want to take a chance on having it, I wanted them to have a good experience. Okay. And depending on, what type of artist you are or whatever, you can keep this for another project. I will set it to the side. Okay. I think we're just going to go with that for now. Okay, so as it is, this is my top, this is my bottom. Now if I want a matching pocket on this side, that's where creating a template comes in handy, because I can put this right here and with my pencil I can just kind of eyeball that, and then I will go ahead and now looky here, guys. You know what? New plan. I'm so glad you're here with me sharing this. So, you guys, if we are kind of careful, we can get rid of this envelope, the bottom flap that came up over to seal the envelope. See what I'm doing? I'm just sort of carefully smooshing, smooshing, working down here. And by doing that, okay, come to the end here. That was attached just a teeny bit. So I'm just taking this off, and then look, that creates, it's not quite as deep, but it's still a pocket. Let's see how that would be if we do it this way. Okay, so you can either go ahead and line it up and do your deeper pocket or not. And since I'm just showing different possibilities here, let's just do that. So if you want to do the deeper, if you want it to be exactly the same or really pretty close to the same, you don't have to do what I did. You don't have to try to take that bottom envelope piece that flips over to close it. You can just do what I showed you in the beginning, trace it, and then cut it. That's fine. Okay, so here we go. So a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper, let's take that out so you can see the whole thing, will just fit top to bottom, because this is 6 by 9, and so 6 and 6 is 12. And depending on your scrapbook paper, if they're just a little skinny, you may have to fudge just a little bit. You could trim your envelope just a teensy bit on both sides to make it a teeny bit smaller. You could do that way, or you could cover when you fold this together as the journal cover. You could put some washi tape or paint or do something of that nature, you know, make it decorative and like you planned it. Okay, so this is going to be my pattern, and I want, so let's flip it over, and I am going to trace, trying to keep it so that my grain, my straight of grain is fair with this. Okay. I don't know if you can even see that. All right, I'm gonna stand up now. How are you, by the way? Have you been staying healthy and safe? I hope you're able to do some creating and and I hope things work out so that those of you that have children that need to go to school can go to school this fall. I just feel kids need socialization. They need interaction with other children and adults, and I don't know, I just feel bad for our kiddos right now that this COVID has changed so much for so many. I feel very blessed though. Never ever want to take anything for granted, and I am truly, the Lord has been very, very good to me. Okay, so I am just lining up, and as you can see, what I'm doing on the straight edges is I'm letting my rulers and whatnot help me out there. Okay, so all right, well, let's cut this and see what we got. Oh, so we had a guy come today from a company where we're thinking of painting the inside. We moved here last year, and the walls are all a kind of a muddy brown, and it's a nice color, but it is rather dark. And in our living great room area and dining kitchen area, that makes it kind of tough because it is dark. And so when the sun is not out, and anyway, it can be, yeah, and I love the light. I love, love, love the light. Okay, so we are, anyway, thinking about doing that, but oh gosh, you guys, it's just such a whole process. It's like all the things that took such a long time to figure out and where to put what, and then if we do this, then that means we've got to, we've got to take down the TV, and we've got to take down all of my china. I collect egg cups and teacups, and all of those things have to be taken down, and I don't know if I'm up to that. We'll see. All right, so let's just cut on this. And this, you guys, I mean, just learning together here, I'm hoping that this will work well. But I've not created this journal with the fabric. As the outside. But this is just such a cute. Isn't that cute? It's just so cheerful, and I love it. Okay. Got one more little area. Looks like I didn't quite get this correctly. Let's kind of straighten that up. Put these little extras in my thread bin, which is always a good idea. And we continue. By the way, I just bought this new pair of scissors. Ooh, they cut very nicely. They're Singer, and they were on sale at Hobby Lobby for half price. And so I have been needing, I use scissors a lot. And I don't myself know how to sharpen them. And I don't know of anyone locally who does that here. And sometimes it's just easier to buy a new pair. Okay, so you can see kind of the outline here. All right, so did I do this right, you guys? Did I? Ah! La 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 la. Did you see what I did? Some of you already, you knew that, didn't you? You knew that was happening and you didn't even warn me. Well, well, goodness gracious. Okay, well, all right. Do I even have enough of the fabric left to do another? Oh, now I'm so mad at myself. Oh. Okay. Well, obviously, you can see from my oops that you should do it a little differently than what I did. Don't turn them both over. Just turn your pattern so that the right side is to the wrong side of your fabric if you're going to use fabric, or to the wrong side of your scrapbook paper if you're going to use scrapbook paper. All right. Okay, so not all is lost. This then will be my liner. I was going to use this cute fabric to line it, you know. Well, and I may still do that. I don't know. I may just scream. Okay, so what I could do with this piece, you guys, is this could turn into another, well, wait. No, all is not lost. All is not lost. Okay, yeah. Aha. Oy. I think I need to go back to bed. This is interesting today. Okay. All right. We'll work with it. Okay. So I will come back when I have glued. Use your favorite method of glue. I don't know if that's going to be a gel medium that you put down, or fabric glue, or yes paste. There's all kinds of things you can do to glue this to. And I'm going to do a combination because I'm going to stitch around mine as well, because I'm combining the two deliberately. And so I will be back when I have done that. So go ahead and get your template or your fabric or your paper glued and or stitched to your envelope. And we will continue. Okay, so I have stitched around everything, and I have glued my fabric to my paper here. And so now I am ready. One thing that did happen, because I had to turn this the other way, is that my opening is on the top now instead of the bottom, unless I want to have the opening on this side. And this is just weirder to me, so I'm going to keep it on this side. So Yeah. I'm not even gonna, what do you say? What do you say? Okay, so I have cut this to size almost. It's a teeny bit bigger, but I'll trim that up after I stitch it. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and, am I going to do this first? Am I going to do this first? I don't know. All right, let's think this through. You guys, help me think. You need to holler louder so I can hear you. All right. Anything I'm going to do to this side, I probably, if I'm going to, okay, if I were going to stitch different things on here, I would probably do that first. But because this is the type of journal that I'm showing you that is super simple, super easy, I'm just going to do, like I've showed you on these, I'm just going to do an image, and that will be glued to the outside, so I don't have anything that would interfere. So yes, yes, I can go ahead and glue this on and stitch around my edges there again. And I'm using the white and black, and I'm stitching with a white thread. Yeah, so this is cute. Gonna be cute-ful. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I have stitched my lining on, and as you can see, I hope, I've also stitched on this side too. I don't want anything to mess up the pockets or, yeah, because this will be the bottom. It'll go like this. But one thing that you do have to do is make sure that your fabric or your paper doesn't go exactly to the fold line. You want it just a smidgen above it. That way it will fold nicely. Otherwise, you're going to have a little bit more bulk, and it's going to be a little more difficult. Doable, but just a little more work. Okay, so now I have a little bit of trimming up that I want to do on this part. So I'll go ahead, let's do that. And we will, this is what rotary cutters are amazing for. Rotary cutters, quilting supplies, oh yes. However, I have not been quilting for quite some time, and I just switch cutters for my paper, and I still use these tools for my paper. Love it. But each to their own, you know. I just don't know how to do a straight line without having it, you know, shown to me. I'm not as clever as some of you at that kind of thing. And that's okay. I can admire yours when I watch you cut. And yeah. All right. And I'm trying to be better about this, you guys. I know sometimes you'll see me with my blade left open, and I do apologize for that. I'm trying to be much better than that. Sometimes when you've been doing it for so long, for so many years, you can get, you know, you may be overconfident in that area. And so always put your blade guard back on. And as you can see, I am just trimming these. I didn't get that one perfect, but that's okay. I'm just trimming this. This is looking good. Looking good. Even though I did my best to mess it up. Oh, this will just be our little joke. Our private little joke. What do you say? I like this though. Isn't that cute? With the liner fabric. And then of course when you open it up, you know, this I'm not going to line, but as you know, this is where you're going to look. Yeah, if you're really, you can do that. You can line it and you can do it on both sides, the whole thing, and then stitch around it. But you're gonna have more bulk. The more that you do that kind of thing, the more bulk you're gonna have. Okay, so what is next? Next will be, it depends on the purpose for your little journal. For instance, this one is just a sweet little black and white. I'm not trying to vintage this up really. And so I don't necessarily want coffee or tea dyed papers in there. Where did I put my papers? I have papers in different spots, so I'm going to, I think this is where I'm going to gather them together, and we'll see about putting whatever little papers that we want in here. I may look and see if I've got some fun black and white scrapbook paper. That might be kind of fun to go with this. I don't know that I do, but yeah. So next you just, you know, if you're going to add, keep in mind you want to do embellishing and whatnot before you put your journal together. So if I'm going to add pockets here, or like I did on the one journal where I had lace and I created a pocket for both, I may do that here. Then I'll pull my lace and I'll look at doing that first while this is still not attached. That way I can do whatever I want this way, and I can stitch or glue without it creating a problem. And then I can do this. Yeah, so, okay, continuing on. I'll be back. So what I'm doing is I am now auditioning some papers to add to my journal. So I want to show you. I have a few little inserts, and a few more, and a few more that, you know, maybe I should put some of those in my Etsy shop. I don't know, maybe that's not something anybody would want to buy. So I have the white, like I was talking about, and actually this isn't a true white. You can see the difference in the color. This is bright, and this is a softer, more of a cream, really, cream and white. But I wanted to just kind of, I wanted to use something that I already have. I don't want to have to go and make another one of these. Oh, goodness. So it was between these three, okay? This one I like because I have interspersed it with writing lined paper, and it's just a nice weight of copy paper, and I have used my digital to create lines on both sides. I have that in my, I do have that as a download. I've used it for tons of different things, and I also, it has the wide and the skinny lines. I prefer the skinny lines, but some do like the wide. So I've got that, and you can see the contrast, and I like that. I don't mind that at all. And it actually makes the dots in the polka dot show up a little bit more, I believe. And then I've got this one that is just this amazing, soft, oh, this paper is so smooth. I honestly don't remember where I picked it up. I have it, but I hoard it because I love it so much. The texture is just, oh, it's smooth and delicious. And this matches beautifully, you know, color-wise. This is just, that's perfect. But it doesn't have lines. So there's that option. There's this. And then the third one that I have, this is all made from deli paper. So it has that thin deliciousness that I love. So you can have the crunch and crackle of paper as you're working. And on one like this, what I would include would be a lined little sheet that just slips in, so you could write on that and then just remove it, you know, just a removable, so you can put it wherever you want it, so you have the lines. So, what are you thinking, guys? Any one of them I really feel would be nice. I really do. Well, maybe before we look at that, for a final, let's just set those off to the side. And then let's look at some papers that I could make for a little cover for the, you know, the little booklet. I have this. I also have, and when we moved, I had some water damage on some of my scrapbooking papers, but I didn't want to throw them out because I knew I could use parts of them. And so I'll just put these down, and you sort of formulate what you're thinking, and we'll compare notes. This one is much wilder. So I want to look and see how I like that with that. How I like, ooh, I don't like that. Sorry if that was your choice. I apologize, but oh boy. And here's this. But this color tone is different than here, so that's really okay. Well, we're eliminating some. And this is more in line with this one. Those two would go great together, but perhaps not with this as the background. Okay. We have this script. Now that's quite nice. And that would go well, wouldn't it, with each of these. Let's keep that. I don't know, which do you like the best of these two? I think I prefer this. And I don't know, these are awfully loud, aren't they? Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there, you guys. Hang in there, we're getting there. Got just a couple more. Ooh, 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 ooh. That goes really well with, It's a little busy for that. That's, not, I'm not 100% sure on that. Now this goes really well with this and with the dots. but I don't necessarily like these two patterns together. I don't think they're close enough in color tone. What do you think? Okay. And this is my last option. There, oh, that's a part that has had water damage. We'll scooch it over to this side. Now that's kind of nice because that could go with this. Let's see. I like those all together. Do you? All three. Should we just like close our eyes and eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tigger? Woo! All right. We have to make a decision. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna choose this. Gonna choose this. They all would go great, but I'm going to choose this. So now it's between this and this. This and this. Oh, you guys, this is hard. All right, we're doing it. We're doing it. Let's just... Okay. So, these measure... One of the reasons that I like to use this size that I showed you that I only have about 400 of, it works for so many different applications, and it's a good use of your regular standard paper. Comes in the US, it's 8.5 by 11 inches, and so if you cut that in half, that will create 2 pages this size when folded over, which is 5.5 inches high lengthwise and 4.25 inches widthwise, which is a nice size. It's a good way to use up paper, and so I like to incorporate that. And it just so happens, guys, that these 6 by 9 inch envelopes, they're kind of perfect, a perfect size for that. Look at that, because you've got just a little bit on the top and on the bottom and on, you know, the inside here. So it's just a nice, this is a good size for that. So just as a sidelight. All right, now let's go ahead and cut. These are my fabric. I can't use those. Trying to remember which rotary cutter. Okay, so this is the 5.5 inches. So we will go ahead and cut that. Get rid of that. And I will trim this to 8.5 inches. And I'll go just a smidgen more. Because of the wonderful things she does. We're off to see the wizard. All right. We'll just fold that over and use our bone folder and get our nice little grouping of papers. Okay. That's just about perfect, and I will just trim off these ends with my corner rounder, these little corners, one of my corner rounders. Okay. Oh, see, that's going to look really nice. I like that. And this is just a great little gift. Put a note. I mean, you don't have to do just a simple little pad of papers. you could absolutely do something more elaborate in here like I showed you on some of those journals. But if you're looking for just some fun, quick gifts to do, this is a great option for you. Okay, so next step. All right. I am going to, just one sec, I'll be right back. I have to come over here to get a couple of my metal clips. And I am going to flip this out and going to kind of center that as much as I can. You don't have to do it this way. You can absolutely do this way. And then it shows. Well, okay, we'll just do it that way. That's the simpler way. And I told you this was really quick and easy. So I need to keep to my word and not complicate it. Do not complicate it, Rhonda. Just show them how good it can be. All right. Do you ever talk to yourself, guys? Some people might be like, duh, you're talking to yourself all the time when you're creating a video. There's nobody in there with you. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? All my friends are here. What do you mean there's nobody here? All right. And we'll come to the other side here. And we will push that down. And we'll put this second clip, and these are good sturdy clips. Then what I will do is get my awl, spelled A-W-L, for those of you that are not familiar. And for those of you that want to measure and are careful about that, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll put a dot at the 3-inch, and let's see, let's go another one at right there, and another one right here. Okay? Or what I've done, like in one of my recent videos, I showed you just with doing it, just eyeballing it, and I think that's absolutely fine to do it that way as well. Let me get the crochet cotton that I'm going to use. All right, so now we're going to just work on this just a little bit, to go through all of those layers. And this is one of those things that if you want to, you certainly can. Take it through the top layer of the cover like you saw me at first doing. It's a little more fiddly, but it does work. And then you don't have quite as much bulk that you're going through. Okay. I just work with this just back and forth, just slowly, and to where I can feel the tip, but I definitely am not trying to puncture holes or anything, huge humongous holes in it. Okay, now I'm doing this, but I haven't stitched this up. And because I've started this way, I'm going to go ahead and put this booklet in, but I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and stitch on these previous stitch lines to close that up first, because it will be easier to do. Or you can run a bead of glue. Anyway, just so you're aware, I don't sometimes I'm just, I'm so excited. Whoops, got to remember to close that. To just show you some of these cool things. And because most of what I do is just custom, it's just from my own weird little brain, my memory, I don't always remember the steps that I take in creating. And sometimes, that can be a problem. I normally will use, and I will today as well, I normally use a rubber finger and a thimble. And where do I want the ties? I'll put those in the middle, I think. So I'm going to start, and this means my ties will be on the inside. All right, there's my second one. I'll just work it through. The clips hold it. Whoops, there again. This thimble's a little too big. Duh. But it seems to be, I either get them a little too big or they're a little too small. Poor Goldilocks. All right. And I have doubled this crochet thread that I'm using. It's very sturdy, but just to make sure, I have doubled the thread. We'll just pull that through, make sure this is taut, and you can see that I have one thread on one side and one thread on the other side. And I will just go ahead and square knot that over under and over under the opposite. And then what you can do, because these are just a tad bit longer, I'm actually going to do a little bow on this. Did I? Oh, good, I did. Just checking myself. Good job, Rhonda. Just keep remembering to get that rotary cutter in the right spot. Alrighty. Now we've got our sweet little booklet attached. It's snug in there. And I will go ahead, what you can do, you can use like a fabric glue, fabric tack, or any kind of fabric glue that you would like to put there, or you can stitch it over these lines. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? I think, you know what? I think I'm going to fuse it with this fabric fuse. I'll just put a nice little bead of glue, and we will close that up. This will need to dry for this to become permanent using the fabric fuse. And I'm getting little threads up from my fabric, which is fine. You can leave them or clip them off, whatever is your fancy. And we'll do this on the other side. Again, we'll get just a nice little bead of glue. Getting plenty, but not too much. I don't want it to be too terribly wide. Want to be able to have nice space within the pocket, but okay. A little bit of sticky. Oh, now see, here we go. We have to really hold that down. This has to be held down for a little while, and then it will become nice and secure. Okay? What I may do is I may even attach for now these clips to help give it that extra little something. Okay? Okay, we've got we're almost done, guys. So when I come back, we'll go ahead and do the front. So if you're working alongside, grab yourself, some images that you think you might want to do on the front, keeping in mind that the front you're going to do sturdier. So you're going to want some good heavy thickness on here so that when you put your envelope flap in and out, it won't bend your fold, it won't collapse on you, that it'll be a good steady, give you a good hold there. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I actually finished this, and I apologize. I forgot to turn the camera on when I did my outside, and I'll explain that to you, but it's kind of a no-brainer. It's not like you needed to see me do that, but so I'm very happy with this, and I'm really happy with the fabric over the envelope. I like it. It's pliable, but it's still, sturdy. So what I ended up doing, and I'll just flip this over like so and show you the end product. I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked, and I just couldn't come up with an image that I thought matched this. Anyway, so what I did was I painted on a piece of fabric, and here's one that I haven't finished, and I copied, this design, and I just did it on a piece of fabric, and then I frayed it and just trimmed the corners, and then I just layered it. Remember this that I was auditioning for perhaps the inside? Well, we got it in here, and look how cool, I got all three. So I'm pretty happy about that. And then a nice heavy cardstock. And so what to do for this part, you just have to kind of measure. So you bring your flap up over, and you'll have your picture on cardstock. It needs to be good and heavy because, like I said, this is going to be going in and out, in and out as you open it and close it, that kind of thing. But what you'll do, so you'll just set it on. For instance, I would just set this here. And another thing that you want to look at, you want to pay attention to the size. Let's take that back out just a little bit. You want to pay attention to the size because you don't want it to overwhelm the journal top. Now see, I've got a little bit of space around here. It covers a lot of the front of the journal, it does. So you just decide what size works for you. And if this were the finished size, I would just kind of put that here. And I would just maybe make just a little pencil mark at the top and at the bottom. And then I'm going to turn it over. And this is what I use for this part. I use a double-sided scrapbooking tape. It works really well. I buy mine on Amazon, and I don't know what the brand is. It just comes, you know, generic, really, plain. But it's very, very sticky. And so my little marks, I don't want, keeping in mind this is the front, I don't want to glue on this side. I want to make sure I glue on this other side. So then what I'll do is I'll just put down strips of this and then tear that off, and then take that out, and then I will just position it in place and just smooth it down. Use a bone folder. Make sure I've got it down nicely. We'll bring that down, so sorry. And then because I haven't glued this part, then this will always fit underneath. And then what you can do if you want, then of course you can put an additional ribbon, a tie on there if you wish. Now you'll notice that I added a little bit of lace, and I did the front with this little bit, and then the trim is what I lined the inside, and that covers up that seam. And if it were normally at the bottom, which is where I would normally have it, then it would be down here. And I just liked this for a little bit extra sturdiness. So this is it, guys. I hope that this was a little bit helpful. I apologize for my missteps and boo-boos and whatnot. So I just want to show you again. These are so much fun. So give it a try. And in a day or two, I don't know if I'll have a chance to do this tomorrow, but I will be putting some of these in my Etsy store if you're interested. And I do have the digital download for these little gals. Obviously not Tim Holtz paper doll, but the images that I showed you earlier, they are now in my Etsy store as well. So, all right, until next video, have a fabulous day. Bye-bye now.